Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Journey into Comics with your hosts, Nate Phillips and Brandon Stone.
I am a god, you dull creature.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 40-Year-Old Virgin. This is Journey into Comics. I'm Nate Phillips here today with my co-host, Brando, my coast.
I am your coast.
My coast.
Your coast to coast.
Brando, today we actually have something really fun going on. We have two guest hosts, the incomparable Decoy Octopus. Got him again on the show.
Wait a minute. No. He's not incomparable.
I'm unflappable.
He's
or
unflappable.
He's unflappable?
Unflappable.
I don't get this.
I'm sorry.
That's why you do the intros.
I do.
Okay. So he's the inflappable and you're the incomparable?
He's the incomparable.
Okay, so this is the uncomparable Mike and the unflappable Nick. And they've both been on the show before on some Brando casts, but today we are going to be talking about all kinds of different topics and going through a whole bunch of different fun shit. So to start, we're going to do the first ever superhero draft on Journey into Comics. Now, the way this is going to work is everybody, starting with Mike, will draft one superhero until everyone has a team of 5. We will then discuss in a short whatever whose team would win the battle of battles between our teams of 5. Now, no comic is off limits. That's digital. That's Archie. Any comic before the turn of the century that doesn't exist. Earliest like 1920. But you know what I'm saying. We'll get started. We're gonna go ahead and jump right on to Mike. Mike, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Great. Now we're just gonna get down to it, man. Who do you draft? Number 1.
Batman.
The big bat.
The big B.
We knew that he'd take the guy who buys his way into power.
Whoa. Who could beat? Who's beat everyone?
Not everyone.
Tony Stark. Just saying.
Really?
He
EMP
probably has more money.
Look, Tony and Batman are like the same fucking
He's
guy.
getting ready to say.
Except
but
for
one guy
has
has
a
a
thing-
way better
Hey,
suit.
take the suit away. Take the suit away for Batman. Ninja versus regular person. Ninja wins every time.
I agree.
Exactly. So can I go now?
Yes, you can.
It is
that
now
brings
your
me on to
turn.
my point because you're right. Ninjas do win every time, and when you combine ninjas with cyborgs, they definitely win every time. Gray Fox.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Metal Gear Solid did have some digital comics that came out. So before anybody's like, Gray Fox isn't in any fucking comics.
So this is
Yes, he
basically
was.
just a big fucking technicality.
Yeah, kind of.
So, I mean, be happy, Nick, because you started riling up a bunch of shit when you lost your dice roll.
Yeah, he did too.
And
He
a
was
bunch of
pissed.
controversial dice roll.
I was trying to be quiet about it.
With
I didn't want you to know what I was gonna do.
my 19-sided die.
20.
20.
It was 19. It didn't have a number 20 on it. Symbol.
I am gonna draft Spidey.
Spider-Man.
I mean, come on.
Be my next one.
Spider-Man. So, now it's my turn. I'm going with Wolverine.
Fucking awesome. Makes sense. Back to you, Mike.
The Hulk.
The Hulk.
Hulking out.
The depressible sulk.
Amazing. Nick,
Venom.
Venom.
Specifically Eddie Brock.
who at one point was actually a good guy before people were like, he wasn't a hero. More technicalities.
Oh, I'm just looking straight at technicalities. That's actually going to be the name.
That's the
we're,
whole-
we're just
Team
technically
technicality.
superheroes.
My second pick is The Flash.
The Flash? Ooh, The Flash. Not Splash. I started writing down.
I saw that.
Right.
First letter was S. I was like, really? Okay. Whatever.
You picked the mermaid from the Tom Hanks movie, Splash. Like, what is she gonna do? It's like, well, if someone has Aquaman, I guess she could get him. Trying to seduce him. And in fact, I'm gonna go with Aquaman.
You are going to go with Aquaman.
I'm gonna go with Aquaman. I'm gonna go with the badass Aquaman with like the harpoon for an arm.
I got you. Hell yeah. That's real.
It's real. Yeah.
Oh, that was a hook.
It's like a harpoon.
It's a harpoon.
It's a harpoon because he's underwater. You whales.
I thought you were actually going to say, technically speaking, the Momoa, because he just looks so fucking good.
It's sort of. I mean, Momoa hasn't lost a hand yet.
Yet.
But it has a kind of like the same look and style. Maybe Okay, so the comic one's blonde hair, but the same diff.
All right. Mike.
Mike, back to you, bud.
I have to think for a minute.
Oh, see, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty.
I have a draft list. I need to see who I want to pick next off
You
my
have a
board.
draft list. He's my favorites. I'm actually gonna go with Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel.
Fucking awesome.
Is
I
it
like that.
Captain Marvel now, right?
No. Two different characters.
Two different ones.
Miss Marvel is a certain character. Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, is a very different character. Carol Danvers actually becomes really fucking awesome, and hopefully we see her in the movie series
Fingers
sooner
crossed.
sooner rather than
Miss
later.
Marvel at first, though, wasn't she?
No,
No.
she was always Captain Marvel.
Was she?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two, and they're
There's two Carol Danvers.
No, there's
No.
one Carol Danvers, but there's a Miss Marvel and a Captain Marvel,
Marvel.
that have nothing to do with each other.
Don't they look a lot alike?
No.
no.
And actually, now Miss Marvel is a little Arab teenage girl who's like super badass. Yep. Totally.
I'm gonna have to redo my research on that one.
There you go.
We didn't come into this prepared.
You didn't.
No, I absolutely did. I'm working an angle here. Deadpool.
That was gonna be one of mine.
Yeah, no.
I need to be very specific about my next pick, but I'm going to take Damian Wayne's Robin, who has just gotten some fucking gnarly powers in the comics, and that's why I'm pulling him.
So I'm not up to snuff on Damian Wayne's new powers.
So essentially, Damian Wayne died.
Right.
And when he died, Bruce went off the deep end and ended up
No.
going to Apocalypse. That's the world where Darkseid is from.
Okay.
And he took a Chaos Crystal and stabbed it through Damian's tomb, which in turn gave Damian Superman-like powers. He can fly. He has super strength. He is bulletproof. He's badass.
His tomb?
Because he was dead. He was buried, dead and buried. But he took the Chaos Crystal and stabbed it through the tomb.
The tomb?
Mhm.
Like he actually had a big ass tomb,
Yeah.
like a sarcophagus and everything.
Yeah. Dude, I'm serious. I can pull it up and show you. It's a big gray tomb. I mean, I can't. It fucking floated in
it's like-
space.
I kept thinking like, do you mean casket?
No, he had a tomb.
Tomb. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so Robin goes Damian Wayne more specifically. I'm gonna go off the beaten path for this one. Negan.
Total villain, but I'll allow it. And you might want to hold off on that pick because I was going to mention as a surprise that I wanted everybody to have their sixth character for their team be one villain.
Well, I guess I started the trend because
There
I'm
you
not
go.
letting someone else take that.
Fair enough.
So I'm gonna add a 6 with a V.
Yep,
So-
V6.
So V6 for everybody.
Does that
Prime
mean they're
teams.
now on like we can?
You can, if you would like, now to go ahead and draft. He pulled the trigger a little early. He didn't know the rules. I didn't tell anybody the rules.
You didn't
so
tell anybody the rules.
fuck it. YOLO.
Negan from The Walking Dead.
I love it. Great, because he's just a badass. He might not have superpowers, but
No,
he's
he doesn't-
empowering.
He doesn't. He's very mortal. Okay, but then again, you've got several people who are very mortal
True.
as far as this goes, and he's very unpredictable.
Spider-Man is very mortal.
Yeah, he is. I mean, but Negan is so unpredictable. You never know exactly what he's going to do.
I think Negan would be good at leading the team. As strange as that sounds.
I know. Well, I mean, yeah, because I was thinking like, you have Aquaman, who obviously kind of has his own society, but and you have Wolverine, who's like such a renegade that he's like, listen to me, or I'm doing my own thing. Negan, obviously he led the Saviors and everything, so he's very charismatic, and if pointed in the right direction, with direction, but then again, he can be very chaotic as well, and maybe not even the Batman could know exactly what he's going to do next.
Okay, I like that. Mike.
I see where you're going. You're trying to take down my team. That's all right.
No, dude, I'm just
No,
saying.
he's just-
I'm just
I-
saying
yeah.
because in my personal opinion, I think Batman is probably one of the most intelligent people in comics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
He may not be the toughest, he may not be the quickest, but he's definitely the most smart in my opinion.
Well, he's like super smart, and he's rich enough to pull off whatever he plans. So
Well,
Yeah.
the biggest thing is he's a quick thinker. It's not the fact that he's super intelligent. It's that on the dime he can be like,
He
I
has a lot of
know.
tact. Yeah.
He's all tact. That's all he is. He knows what's going on.
Mike,
All right.
So it's your turn, buddy.
So we're gonna go villains this time.
You want to go villain?
I think I'm gonna go with Thanos.
I was thinking.
Fuck
that too.
you.
I was thinking that, but I got one.
God damn it.
So I guess this is the unofficial villain round.
Yeah, we'll
Pretty
call
much.
it.
Pretty
Go
much.
for it.
Yeah,
Ultron,
that was wait. That's
because
Wait,
I can
I'll
work an
work
angle with that one too.
Nate.
Oh, this is so easy. Because he is the opposite of Negan, but he's also so intelligent. My villain is the Joker.
Joker.
Nice.
well. Well.
So now I've got 3 more heroes to pick. The rest of these guys got 2.
Yep.
Spawn.
Man, that's a good one. That is a really good one.
Let's hold on. I can use a button here while he's thinking.
Well, let's go with the captain.
The Captain.
The Captain.
The Captain America.
Awesome.
I can't believe he's win.
What was you butchered Captain America on the Civil War debate? What was it? What did you call him? Captain something.
No, I called Tony Stark Hitler.
Well, you did do that, but no. One of those you called Captain. It was Captain somebody else. Who was it?
Oh, no, there was Captain Man.
Captain
and the
Man.
Snowy Threesome.
Captain Man. That's right. Captain Man.
And what is it? Slug Man?
The Slug Man.
And
I agree, Slug Man. Yeah. So pretty much this is going to be like
the Baller Minutia League.
The Baller Minutia League full of like wannabe Mega Man characters.
Yes.
Captain Man, Slug Man.
All right.
So Captain America goes to Mike. It goes over to Nick. What's your number 4, pal?
Raphael.
Awesome.
Nice.
I didn't even think of the turtles.
Wow.
I told you. I'm going outside of the box here.
Love it. I'm going to have to go with Star-Lord, man. Legendary Outlaw. I mean, I need a leader for this team, and I don't really have any, so.
Wow. My team clearly lacks leadership.
All a bunch of renegades.
And I was going to go with a renegade for my next one.
He just changed
Might
his
be
mind.
thinking that, huh? Thinking that through.
Or am I?
Or is he?
He's going to pull the old triple-double cross.
I actually have a question for my next one.
Okay, but we're going to let him get his pick, and then I'm going to have you give me that question. Brando.
Yeah. I'm here. Don't play the think music for me.
Nope, don't need to.
Don't need to. No. Because I'm kind of debating between 2 of them.
Okay. I need to see. Yeah.
The Thing.
Ben Grimm. Very nice. Very nice.
Oh.
So the question:
Sure.
Star Wars comics.
It's
Yes.
in there. I was just thinking that because I was just thinking I wanted to change my villain to Darth Vader.
Well,
So-
you cannot change. You've already drafted this guy
No,
now.
I know.
Perennially speaking,
But you could take Anakin before.
You could because he is good, so then he would count as hero.
Yep.
Yep.
true. Something to think about.
Is it, what?
So, who are you drafting officially?
Obi-Wan.
Oh.
That's a leader.
The Unflappable One.
Scorpion.
You are just all about this technicality, aren't you?
I dig it though. I dig
So
this
who's
team.
your leader?
Scorpion.
That's actually not
He's
a
the
bad
leader
call.
of the Shiriru.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Oh God, my final one. I would feel like a prick if I didn't, so I'm gonna draft Nightcrawler. I mean, his Banff ability alone. Enough
Yeah.
said.
Oh man, I totally fucked up.
I totally fucked up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, your villain pick threw me off for what I was doing.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Magneto. No, Wait, is he
No.
anti-hero?
Now, time out.
He's good.
He is, in fact, a good guy currently.
Because if I can take Venom as a hero,
And Venom, on a technicality, there are two forms of Eddie Brock's Venom when he started as Agent Venom and then gave that up to Flash Thompson.
Well, I'm going Eddie Brock, like I said.
So,
Alright,
yeah.
So can I pull the technicality and say Magneto?
I'll allow it.
I think so, yeah, because right now he is good. So, and he has been good in the past. He aligned himself. I mean, all the way back in Secret Wars, he
You can
aligned
argue
himself.
That Magneto has always been good. It's just about
Who he's fighting for.
yes,
Points of view.
Yes,
Exactly.
Point of view. Yeah.
Exactly.
that's-
I think that's actually what makes him like one of the best villains. Because is he really? He's
Yes.
fighting very hard
He's not
for
an
one
evil
cause.
person.
The same cause. They're fighting for the same cause, just different ways about it.
Exactly.
That's-
So we're done, guys.
All right.
So let's just recap here. Mike went first, and his team is Batman, Hulk, Miss Marvel, Captain America, and Obi-Wan. And his villain is Thanos. Nick has Gray Fox, Venom, Deadpool, Raphael, Scorpion, and Ultron.
I see 3 ninjas in there.
That was the idea.
Knuckle
4.
up.
4 actually.
There's
including
4, yeah.
Deadpool.
Oh wait.
There's something I was working for.
Nate as Spider-Man, The Flash, Robin, Damian Wayne Robin, Star-Lord, Nightcrawler, and the Joker. And I, Brando, have Wolverine, Aquaman, Spawn, The Thing, Magneto, and Negan.
Pretty awesome teams. So who wants to argue about this first?
Ninjas.
Magnets.
Magnet.
Shit. Shit. Considering 2 of my characters.
Well, unfortunately for everyone, no one was thinking about this. But one thing that I know my team has an advantage of is that my team can scout all of your teams before the fight even happens because the Flash can actually travel backwards in time. So, by using the Speed Force, he can plan out how to beat every single one of your teams.
However, ninjas.
Come on, deeper than just ninjas.
No, I mean, okay. But can he scout out a clan of ninjas?
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
he-
wait.
I mean,
He
there's
travels-
but the whole point of a ninja is
Which-
that they're stealthy.
Do we use now on my Thanos?
Okay.
Can I pick a specific time error for him? Like,
Like, are you gonna go
does
like
he
Infinity
have
Gauntlet?
one of the crystals?
No
or-
one, no one has any special. They're straight up just brawlers. There's no added weaponry or any of the things of those natures.
It's what's in their character.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, character,
Because
okay.
because yes, I understand the Infinity Gauntlet is such a huge part of whatever.
Well, I mean,
See, we've lost our train of thought. Some shit is happening,
So
but
there's a-
my comics are in that box, and I would prefer them not to get devastated. So I was trying to like,
Situation averted.
yeah,
That was a close
I was
call.
like, hey, I can't do anything here.
Brian,
But ultimately, yes, the Flash does have the ability to travel. I mean, as of right now, the Flash is faster than Superman. Superman's faster than a speeding bullet. The Flash has traveled. I mean, he can travel so fast that he can break the time-space continuum and travel backwards or forwards in time. So that being said, technically he can in fact do that. Now, would he be able to 100% plan out how the fight would go? No.
Right.
So, see, he might be able to scout you guys. It doesn't mean we can win. I just know your game plans. I know that as ninjas what you guys are coming in with. I know that you're very tactical. You'll plan. You'll take your time. You'll pick my team off. I get it. Spider-Man, he's fucking dead in 10 seconds.
Spider-Man's fucked because I took Venom, and Venom with the backing that he has there, like somebody to actually give him guidance.
Yeah, no, it would be.
Yeah, and no Spidey sense.
Yeah. I mean, Spider-Man does have spider sense. It's,
Not against Venom.
Oh, that's true. He doesn't have spider sense against Venom. He can't sense because of the symbiote.
Yep.
Exactly. So, Brandon, what do you think about your team? What's going on there?
I'm thinking my team's doing fucking fantastic considering that I just saved your fucking comics.
Good job. Thank you.
Dude, I'm thinking that Magneto is the leader.
Okay.
He's definitely the leader of this group. I mean, you've got, definitely the Thing is a follower.
Okay.
Wolverine can be a follower.
Or a leader if you need him to
Or
be.
a leader if you need him to be, but he's more than willing to take a back seat. I just sat back down.
It's fine.
All right, so the other thing is that Negan is the renegade. He's the really renegade of the group. You don't know what he's going to do. So is he really going to come at you? Or is he going to blow up your family?
And you know the crazy thing about that is actually the way you said that Negan could actually play distraction. He could create a big enough distraction
yes.
that could throw things out of loop.
Now, see, yeah, the Thing is my muscle.
Of course.
He's the muscle, okay? Aquaman, he's just a badass.
Well, Aquaman also is the muscle, kind of.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Spawn, he's the mystical part of it. Because he can do crazy shit with his, fucking armor that, as almost comparable in a way to like Venom or something.
Yeah.
In that kind of way. Maybe with a little bit more advantages because Venom can manipulate his suit, but Spawn can really do like almost like extraneous. I can't speak. Extra shit with his suit. I tried to say a big word and I failed.
It's okay. Mike?
I actually had a specific set for mine.
Okay, let's hear it.
2 teams.
2 teams breaking it into 3s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Obi-Wan leading one, and Captain leading the other.
Okay, who's on who with who?
So I was thinking with, I would put the Hulk, Batman with Captain.
Okay.
Now, technically, Thanos can kind of do his own thing because he's never been defeated with a one-on-one battle with anyone, so it would take multiple heroes to take him down. So he is my big distraction. And then that is my tactical flank team. And then Miss Marvel as well. I mean, whatever you need her to be, she can be.
Exactly.
So
we've all kind of explained, I mean, our teams have a little bit of different things. Really, I didn't even talk about my leadership role being Star-Lord and how he would be able to guide the team. Okay, Nightcrawler, you need to do this. Damien, I know you're crazy and you're super fucking strong, but if you just do these few things, we'll be done. I mean, he constantly wrangles in the characters in the comics. So for him to do something like that with this team, I don't see as outside of the loop. Obviously, the Flash is our scout. None of your teams have scouts, as far as I've heard. So that's very important. But Spider-Man, I mean, you do have scouting ability because they're all ninjas.
Gray Fox also has stealth.
Okay.
Also true.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're ninjas, which I mean, ninja scout. Like they're basically ancient spies, right? Like that's what the ninjas were.
Yeah.
I've got
we all just
Scorpion for my leadership, just because he led a ninja clan. So why not, right? One thing that you guys aren't taking into consideration is a few of my team members can't die. Deadpool cannot die. Scorpion's already dead. Ultron cannot really die. I mean, he can keep downloading his conscious to the internet and keep making new bodies.
That is true.
Also, Ultron can make himself a non-magnetic body.
But how? Okay, I also have a fellow that takes tremendous amount of effort to kill.
Wolverine.
I mean, you got to do so much to kill this guy.
So I have Deadpool, who beats Wolverine every time. And then for a scout, besides everybody being ninjas, I mean, Ultron is a part of hardwired into technology. So there's that. Venom, obviously the muscle. Also, he just he's there to stand against Spider-Man, and he's Venom, so he's awesome.
And the nice thing,
argument.
the nice thing that I don't, I think your team has is that ultimately Eddie is kind of a utility guy because if he needed to, and you didn't even take this into consideration, he could give the symbiote up to one of the other guys,
right. I mean,
and that would create a whole new different, thing.
Yeah,
I mean, could you imagine Scorpion with the symbiote?
Even can you imagine Raphael?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
He'd be Slash. I mean, the turtle Slash, who was bad as hell.
Raphael, I picked him because he's my favorite turtle.
Me too.
But he's also the toughest.
Also true.
Now, I was thinking about, because when we were talking about leadership, I was like, I should have went with Leonardo, since he's clearly a leader. But hell, I think I got leadership just fine. I mean, either Ultron or Scorpion could be. So,
all right, so let's talk about it. Who do we actually think wins? We've all kind of discussed why we think our team would win, but who do we, if we all agree and we look at strengths and weaknesses and what team is the best built, what team would come out on top in this epic battle?
Well, one of my biggest things with Obi-Wan is the Force. So the Flash, theoretically, they have that spidey sense. Essentially, they can briefly see a small moment in the future, therefore maybe predicting what you're going to do next. You have the scouting ability to check the plan, but I have somebody that's more on top of it, as in situational awareness. Like, things are going down, and he's snapping, he's on it. He knows where you're going to go. He has a feeling. That's the Force. We all know the Force.
That's true. I mean,
That's why he's my front runner.
the Force, that is a good pull to have drafted Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's completely outside of the box, and I really enjoy that. I kind of look at Brandon's team, though, and he really, if you look at his team, they are built to do a little bit of everything, but they don't have anything like, they don't have the ability to travel into the past. They don't have the Force. They're just brute strength and intelligence, because he has a team of both. Aquaman, highly intelligent, ultra strong. Thing might be dumb as a box of rocks, not figuratively speaking, and he is in fact strong as hell. Magneto is no question the leader of that group, and he is so smart that he could probably rein Negan in enough.
Well, see, I think he can appeal to Negan. I think he can, I think both of them, he can get with Negan, and he can kind of, as you said, rein him in by kind of appealing to him in a way that none of the other characters on my team could.
Okay.
Because how many people really did Magneto draft into his cause?
Lots.
Also, you kind of have to have somebody to keep Negan on a leash.
That's
you
exactly
can't
my
let him
point.
run wild
That's exactly
because
my point,
you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, originally I was thinking Professor X, but I'm like, but he's too good.
Right.
Like, Negan is so uncontrollable that he's got to have somebody down, like almost on his level, to a point where he respects him.
Yeah, I mean, even Negan respected Rick Grimes ultimately.
Of
I mean,
course.
and that in and of itself is a huge thing. Then again, I look at your team of ninjas, and I understand the appeal of how that team could in fact win. I also look at your team, and again, it's all about the Force, man. Because Obi-Wan could train those guys to be on their top of their game.
Yep.
Hey, Bruce, you think you're this good? Here, let me show you what you don't know. The League of Assassins never taught you this,
Yep.
And here it goes. But
See, but mine takes time to build. I'm not let's go right now.
Right.
I need to step back
and plan, but
and
that's
plan
okay.
and take.
All right, so here's how we're gonna do this, and just you're gonna say whoever you want. You can vote for yourself. Doesn't matter. We're all gonna get one vote. You'll say what team you honestly, genuinely think is gonna win, and we'll just we'll see who comes out on
Can I
top.
look at the list?
That's what I was
Yeah,
getting ready to do.
yeah. Go ahead, everybody.
Well,
Pass the
pass it
list.
around.
Yeah,
Pass it
pass the
around.
list around.
Let's,
Let's see.
Finish him.
Appropriate.
Fatality.
Also appropriate.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I love this soundboard. It's
I've got
it's
balls of steel.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
For two of my characters.
I like turtles.
still very appropriate.
And it's gone.
to be honest, I think they're all pretty well balanced. I mean, everybody's got their own technical theme that they want to run with, so it's like you're really not going to know unless you really just let them go.
Yeah.
And obviously, we can't just be like, hey.
I guess we should probably make the rule that we can't vote
vote
for
for
ourselves,
ourselves.
because then everybody could just go, well, my team's going to win.
Yeah, right.
And then
I
there's
wasn't gonna
nothing
vote
is
for myself.
decided. I wasn't going to vote for myself either, but
I wasn't either.
Well, then we should all get to vote for ourselves.
If you had to vote for someone other than yourself.
No, that's what I was going to do. Because I figured if we could all vote for ourselves, that really...
You created the team. You're gonna
Right,
This
you
is my
gotta-
team. I'm gonna win.
You know.
okay. So, Mike, you led the draft, man.
To be honest, I really like the Negan pull from you. That was like somebody I would not have expected. And I mean, he's not really he has no genuinely superpowers, but
He is super evil as fuck,
he's
though.
just evil. Like he doesn't care. And so I go with Brandon because it's just outside the box, way outside the box.
I like that, yeah.
Let me see that list again. Hang on a second.
Message for you, son.
Can you guys hear that
Yeah, I can hear it.
through my headphones?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
You know, we never discussed that you took the Joker,
Yeah.
and because I was trying to remember who your villain was.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna go Nate.
Oh, cool.
I mean, you've got some geniuses on that team. You know, Spidey's a genius. The Joker. I mean, it's pretty diverse. So
Barry is a genius. The Flash. I mean,
yeah, and you got a ninja.
I do. Yeah. Come on now. I am actually gonna go with Mike.
Okay.
Because I love the Thanos pick. He was actually my top villain that I was gonna draft, and then we got to you, and I was like, motherfucker. Okay, well he took Thanos. Now what do I do? Well,
Right whenever you said villains, I was like Thanos.
he embodies evil, and I love how we're kind of all coming down to not even the good guys. We're determining who the winner is based on our villains. I mean, so far you thought Negan, you thought
Yeah.
with Joker, but really Thanos, he's just the ultimate evil.
Yep.
And what's funny is that I wasn't going to base my opinion based on the villain, but I'm also going to go with Mike because of his team has so much sense of direction.
Okay.
Like there is no one, maybe except for Hulk and Thanos, that really need to be reined in.
Yeah, the bat can run
The
free.
back and go do his own thing. But see, the thing is that they work well. He also works very well in a team,
Yes,
as does Captain America, as does Obi-Wan.
as does.
Yeah.
Marvel.
See, I wasn't really thinking. I went with a bunch of lone wolves, really.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
But I was kind of going for the divide, and they're ninjas, man.
Well,
Just assassinate.
Of course. But I don't know. You said you want to kind of maybe divide the team up a little bit, and I'm like, dude, you don't have to have one leader,
No.
because they can all meld together, and then once one person like says, "Let's do this," they're all just gonna do it.
Right. There's not going
to be very much arguing.
the two questionable ones, like you said, is Thanos because obviously he is the
Of course, but I mean,
epitome
come
of
on,
evil. he is evil.
Even I'm not even sure that Magneto could fully control Negan.
No.
I mean,
Maybe if they got some level of respect with each other.
Exactly,
But even still, to get to that point, what would you have to do to even break that barrier for
I know,
Negan?
but see, you've got the intelligence, you've got the leadership, and you've got the Hulk,
True.
and you've got Thanos. So I'm gonna have to give it to you.
All right.
Wow. I really didn't expect that.
Well, I mean, they're all great teams for all for their own reasons. Whether
I was
you
actually-
wolf it and have an immortal guy, or whether you've got I consider like Nate's team to be largely like younger men with like less experience. So it's like, yeah, Star-Lord could lead them, but so could the Joker.
Really? I mean,
Weirdly
yeah.
enough, it's like the other guys are probably looking at him like he's crazy. But if all they're doing is getting a team together to have like a big fight,
You know what we should do, honestly, and maybe we can pull this off. Hopefully before this airs, or maybe we'll have to do it after. It doesn't matter. What if we take and actually Photoshop the teams and put it on our Instagram, respectively?
oh, that'd be cool.
Mike's team, Nick's team, your team, my team.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nice.
And then that way people can visualize the team as one. Because just to put it in your own head, you're seeing this team. Oh, they would work this way together. I think
Right.
that'd be really fun. So, guys, that was the first hero draft.
Yeah.
We'll probably revise this and do it again sometime. Maybe fine-tune some rules and make things a little bit tighter because I was very loosey. I just wanted to see how it
Right.
worked, get an idea. I didn't really even know how we were going to determine a winner until we were just on the spot kind of figuring it out.
Well,
But
I definitely like that because how do you pick a winner when you are trying to draft your own team?
Right.
You really need to look at like out of the box and look at the advantages of the other teams, other than trying to say like, well, this is what your team doesn't have. Look at what the other team does have.
exactly.
Yeah.
So who gets next topic?
I believe it's Nick.
Nick, what is your first topic?
All right. I want to ask you guys if you think we're going through a video game drought right now, or if it's just the way the market's going to be forever, or is this a low point? What do you guys think?
Who would like to start?
I guess I can. We've actually talked about this before, and I think that we are in a drought, and I don't think we're gonna pull out, because if you really think about it, how long has it taken them to make games now?
2 years.
2 to 3.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing sustainable. I mean, you look at the PS1, PS2 era; they were just
Banging them out.
banging them
Right.
out. Like, you had so many games, you were overwhelmed. Now it's like you're waiting for the next title, and really, and this is one of the reasons why I own almost every system, granted from the retro, it's the fact that you have to own every system to have something new to play. Because they're not banging out PS4 games all the time. It's not like
Or big top money titles. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you're looking at you need to have some versatility in your gaming. You can't just be like, I am a PS4 player.
Definitely the transition into this next generation with the PS4 or Xbox One, and I guess you could say Wii U. That's technically next generation.
Yeah.
But it's still sort of I consider that system to be sort of like a middle ground. It's not going very fast. It's very slow. I mean, you have all your third party games. You're always going to have those. Your Call of Duties, your Assassin's Creed.
Right.
They're going to come out. Whether or not those games are what you would consider to be on par with next gen, that's another question. But when you talk about exclusives, that's where there's a big drought. That's where they are spaced out. And to be honest, it's going to get better, obviously, because
Cross fingers.
you cross your fingers. I do think it will get better on both terms because you have a lot of stuff coming down the line. However, transition periods are always rough. I mean, I don't know if you guys were all on board with the transition from the other generation, from PS2, Xbox, GameCube to 360, PS3.
Yep.
That PS3 launch title, that sucked.
Yeah, it was a
really
very
did.
bad launch.
If you were saying I'm staying true and loyal, true son of Sony, then you were in for like a long period before you actually had some quality exclusive games, because there were exclusives, but I mean, come on, when you compare them to the to the competition, they had much bigger titles coming out sooner. Now, as far as like I definitely think it's going to get better. I don't think it's going to stay this way because you have the handheld market is getting a weird resurgence here lately. The PC market's huge, and that's actually gaining a lot of steam. No pun intended.
I knew you were going to say that.
So to what Mike said, you have to own every system to have something new to play. In a sense, yes. If you want to stay true to one, you're gonna have a long periods of time between some big quality games. And Nick, I know that you've actually had this yourself because you have a PS4 and yet you found yourself venturing away from console gaming with the new 3DS.
Yeah.
To get something new to play.
Yeah, I was just bored,
Yeah.
There's just nothing of interest right now.
It's really strange. I guess I'm in a different light of all this because in the 360 PS3 era, I was working for GameStop, and I know what that market was like, and I know that every week we had big titles dropping week after week after week after week, and there were slow months or whatever, but they weren't really that slow. There were still 5 or 6 or 7 titles a week coming out. But what I really think is the drought is actually the fault of all the gamers because we are so intelligent now, and not to slight anybody or anything in the past or anything, but games have to be at a higher level than they've ever been before.
Yep.
So in order to even get to that quality, you have to spend 2 or 3 years tweaking and fine-tuning and doing what Naughty Dog does and go, okay, well, tentatively 2015 for Uncharted. Fuck, we really have to go 2016 because we don't want to disappoint.
Oh, yeah.
And that's important to the developers now. They care. Now, you could say that people like Naughty Dog do care. That's fact. You could say BioWare cares. You can't, however, tell me that any of the people that pop out your yearly Call of Duties, your yearly Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
your Halos, any of those things, and that's not even looking at what Nintendo does. And no one appreciates how Nintendo does it. They're very old school. They're methodical. They want to give you one of their star characters in a time period where that one character will shine, and then move on to the next, and then move on to the next. You don't have a new Mario title that comes out 1 month after the new Zelda. The new Kirby game just came out. There's no titles coming around this time. Kirby is by himself.
There's a reason why they need to do that too, because they totally lack a third-party support at this point. Where they need to trickle out their main characters, do it at a point of like make the gamers like we have to keep them interested. So give them this character for a couple months. By the time they get tired of that game or have moved on, okay, here's another one. And so while that does work, I kind of wish that you could have a Nintendo system where you have the third party be very strong on it. So if you really like the Nintendo characters, you could also have all those other really good third party games.
And see, to me, it's really strange because I thought the Wii had great third party support. Some of my favorite games were third party. Mad World, No More
Sega.
Heroes.
The thing about Nintendo though, and I can't pronounce his name, so the head of Nintendo said, he said, we are not just putting out games. That is not what we're doing. We don't want you to come in and put out a game every year. We want people to come out with unique, special titles that are creative, that think outside the box. We don't want to be a trend. We want to be Nintendo. We want to
They
be
are
something
separate.
else.
And they do that. And sometimes they do it to a fault. I mean, I don't want to negate what you're saying because it's true. You can always count on Nintendo doing something to try to think outside the box, not just give you another gaming device. But sometimes a little innovation can go further than a whole new thing where you have to just rethink how you play your games.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked the motion controls to an extent, and I actually love the touchpad on the Wii U. I just wish more games would utilize it.
Yeah. And I wish it was a little more compact.
Yeah.
It is
But
a little bulky.
I can understand why the third-party developers are. You know what? This thing's a waste of time for our games.
No, well, it's you got to develop separately for
Exactly. Yes, and so then that creates a division between the games that you put out on other systems.
it. Oh yeah.
So now, real quick, a question within this question, just a sub question. Do you guys think that the digital market has also affected how we receive our games and the time it takes for great titles to drop? Because they can take these little games like Counter Spy and they can go, here, this is a fun game to play. It's mindless. You don't have to try hard, but it's something enjoyable until a game you really want to get into play.
Oh yeah.
Happens.
Well, this kind of brings me to what I was going to say is, I don't think that the market's ever really going to pick up the way we think it is, or be the way that it used to be. Like you said, and I totally agree. It takes such a long amount of time to make these great games now. I mean, how long did it take to develop Grand Theft Auto 5?
Yes, years.
And so I truly think that as games get more complex, people are maybe our technology gets better, but people are only people, and we can only work so fast, right?
Yeah.
And so I just think that you're going to only get your AAA games sparsely now. They're not going to be these huge hit after hit after hit, and I think that's why we have to have the indie scene to just.
And it's budding now.
Yeah,
It really is.
I think we have to have it to kind of like here's a new game every week. It's a small game for a few bucks here or there.
And what's cool is that you had a small discussion because there's a growing trend of like these games that are made like an older style.
Yeah.
That's cheaper. You can make a game quicker with that.
Yep.
But it creates something new out of something old.
Right.
Like Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight.
Look at the
Exactly.
success
Solo,
of that game.
Those are great freaking games, and they can put them up digitally for like 10, 15 bucks, and then you can download it, have tons of fun with that, and then your AAA games comes out.
Right.
Yeah. So I definitely agree with what you said there. Like
Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that I agree with Nick that I think it will pick up down the line.
It'll
towards
pick
the end.
up. I just don't never see it being back to like a game a month or
Well, because
Nothing will top 2008
When you
because, in that industry in 2008, it was insane. I mean, you could sit here, we could probably go around and just name every great game that came out in 2008 easily. Like, yeah, exactly. Mass Effect was just one example. BioShock came out in 07, so count that out.
Gears of War 2 came out in 08.
Gears of War 2 came out in 08. You had what I thought was a really great Halo and ODST.
GTA 4, MGS 4.
Yep.
Both came out in 08,
Okay, but to just kind of, I guess in a way to kind of wrap up this topic in a way, the idea that the indie scene is getting so much love and affection right now with everything that you can do with these AAA games, I think it will pick up towards the end, but the way that we get our games and how big they are now, when you get a game and it's 50 gigabytes,
Right.
it's like back on the PS3 360, you were looking at 7 gigs. On a PS3 double disc game or something like that, or on the 360, 14. At the most, you're going to get 20.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And that's all. And that's across 2 discs. And that's across like a big, massive game like Skyrim, GTA 5, that were the biggest games from the last generation.
Oh yeah.
You're not getting smaller games now, so that takes time to make games on that scale.
Wasn't MGS4 a 20 gigger?
No,
It wasn't?
no, I don't think it was 20 at all.
Okay.
We could look that up for clarification.
No.
I don't remember.
But no, I agree with what you're saying, and what you're saying is games are taking so much longer to develop now, and games need to be perfect. They need to be damn near perfect, or everybody is going to shit all over them.
Yeah.
That's just the world we live in now. Because there's everybody like us, we have an outlet to discuss how we feel about things. So if a game comes out and we don't like it, we can just trash it, and that's marketing now.
That's the
Marketing
new
is now
marketing.
done by the people that actually play the games. So if a game comes out and it's flawed, people are going to jump
Unity.
all over it. Exactly, and that's why
We can keep
delays
going
are
on
so
that.
important now.
And it was that way because they had to push it out because they have a commitment to put
Right,
that game
in
out
November,
on
yeah.
a yearly basis. So if they would have taken that game, taken some time on it,
That's what
probably would have been fantastic.
Uncharted or these games that are delaying. You have to be able to do that now.
Look at Batman.
I was just
Yeah.
getting ready to say.
Batman's been, I mean,
it's been delayed twice now, hasn't it?
but from the looks of it, I mean, the other two Batmans, I have not finished Arkham City, so I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. But I didn't play them, and now I'm just going back and playing them. Like, these are fantastic games. This is a superhero game. This is what it is. And now when you look at what they're going to do with, the new Batman, it's like, oh, you can delay that as long as you need to make it perfect because
It's going to be perfect, too.
Yeah.
I mean, and at this point, I actually almost think that Rocksteady just delayed it to just add a little more hype. Because a 2-week delay, they're already in the process of going gold.
2 weeks can take you a long ways. Just look at The Last of Us.
That is
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
very
2
true.
weeks. The guys over there at Naughty Dog said 2 weeks was pretty much the extent of what they needed to make that game into gold. To tweak it, to remove bugs, whatever it was that would detract from your enjoyment. I mean, that game came out, and I can't think of a single problem that I had when I was playing that game. That was that affected gameplay. So
No, I can't either.
yeah,
Awesome. Well, who's next?
I believe it's Zach.
Yeah, I've already went.
No, it's you, Mike.
It started with him, and then
Oh, okay.
and we're going like in a clockwise. So it would be Mike's topic first.
So mine is more along the lines of comics versus the movies. Okay. So the new Avengers. Rumor is that Spider-Man's going to be the lead. You being a very big comic book person, you know that Spidey really doesn't. He's just there when they need him. When it's in his, I guess, his town or whenever he's there, he will assist. But he really doesn't want to pursue a group effort.
I mean, old Spider-Man, I can totally agree. Like your Todd McFarlane era Spider-Man in the late 80s, early 90s definitely was a loner. But the more modern written Spider-Man and Marvel has been really good about tweaking things in their comic world to help their movie world. Just small, little. You'd never even notice them, but when it comes time to be on the screen, you're like, well, technically it is in continuity because they just did this 2 years ago, or technically this. But Spider-Man, I mean, they wrote a title for Spidey called, what was it, Avenging Spider-Man, and it was the Avenger Spider-Man. Like, he was a full-time member of the Avengers who was only a part of the Avengers, and then when Doc Ock took over Parker's body, which happened in Spider-Man 700 and then turned into Superior Spider-Man, he went, and the Avengers are like, something's fucking weird with this guy, and he is not who we think he is. So to say that he's going to... Will he have a massive role in Age of Ultron? No. I think Spider-Man, if anything, will be a post-credit cameo. He'll show up for just enough to plant that seed because you cannot... Look at the movie as it is. You have 7 Avengers right now, maybe 8. You have Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hawkeye, Vision... Black Widow. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. No, Panther's not technically there yet.
He's not there
Quicksilver, Scarlet
Quicksilver,
Witch.
yeah.
So 8.
Yeah.
Okay, you have 8 right now. Then there have been rumors you're gonna get Black Panther, a teaser. You're possibly gonna get Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. They need to set up a little nug there to lead into Spider-Man being a part of Civil War. You don't have to tell Spider-Man's backstory. So... will he have a huge impact? I can't say yes, but Spider-Man being a part of the Marvel Universe now is going to be a whole new venture. We've never had a co-owned superhero as a part of movies. So
Right.
Marvel and Sony own the collective rights to all of Spider-Man, but Marvel's calling the shots, and they want him done right, and they don't want to fuck around. So that's very important that they get the Spider-Man that they want to tell. Not a Spider-Man where he's got a crazy backstory that his parents got some sort of crazy hidden secret, whatever. Yes, the Amazing Spider-Man movies were great. However, there was a lot of jargon that was just talk, and it was babble. And maybe if they would have got to the third one, it would have set up further to build. But they didn't, and Marvel has the rights now, and it's time to party with them, I think.
I don't think we're going to see Spider-Man in Age of Ultron because they didn't get the rights to him until way too late into that movie's production.
I'm going to blow your mind. Because I'm a stickler for the minutia, or the as Skylar White would say, the devil's in the details. So when they released, okay, this is very important, the timeline of things. So the Sony hacks happened. There were rumors that Spider-Man was in talks to go back to Marvel. Nothing happened. Then they were still building for Age of Ultron. They were getting ready to release a poster, and they said, we have to wait. Okay, they make the announcement that Spider-Man's officially a part of Marvel. Okay, that's very important. Right after that, they released the first poster for Age of Ultron. In very small, tiny little fucking print that you can barely see, it says additional music by Danny Elfman. The entire score is not by Danny Elfman, but for some reason there's additional music by Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman has only been tied to two superheroes, Batman and Spider-Man.
Right.
He did the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man soundtracks,
Oh yeah,
all three.
I mean, that's going to be after the credits for sure, though.
So he's got to have that little tiny nugget role where they just introduce the character. Maybe he says a funny line that leaves people like, oh, holy shit, he's actually here, you know. And I think it's a great idea to keep him under wraps. They don't have to even say who is cast as Spider-Man until they're in the process of going into the Civil War. They could leave him masked and still not say who the actor is, even if they don't have an actor yet to play the role. He doesn't have to have a speaking line.
That's how they did Michonne for Walking Dead, isn't it? Because the first time you see Michonne, that's not the girl that actually plays Michonne.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Correct.
Because I remember seeing that. But no, and I guess what I'm saying is you can have it after the credits. You can have Spider-Man come in, but during the movie itself, there's no way, just because it was too far into that movie's production that they got the rights. So you would have to rewrite and reshoot and do way too much stuff.
Right, but you need to at least have. I don't think that it would be a end of credits. You're gonna have to have him somewhat in the movie, a little bit at least, to really properly seed that Civil War role.
Not necessarily, because if he's going to be a major role in Civil War, then Avengers is already packed. It's already packed. Just like what they did with the introduction of all these other heroes, with Thor, you know, with...
Telling you.
Anyway, okay, but they could definitely just plant the seed at the very end, where it's like, holy shit, it's Spider-Man, you know, and
Yeah.
and then
Credit roll.
Well, actually, no, that's after credits. So it's like people know, then Spider-Man, and then people who don't know the news, who aren't up and with the current headlines or anything like that, they know he's going to be in the next something.
Right.
So then when they come out with the trailers for Civil War, Captain 3, Spider-Man's up in front. You got Tony, you got Cap, you got Spider-Man right in the middle. But my question is, in regards to sort of like this whole thing about how he's going to fit in, what kind of landscape are we looking at for Spider-Man coming into the Avengers? Is Tony still going to be around? Is Captain going to still be around?
It's true.
I have an interesting piece of information that has been rumored ever since it was announced that Spider-Man is officially a part of Marvel. It seems like either in Civil War or in the Spider-Man movie that has officially been added to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and pushed both the Captain Marvel movie and the Inhumans movie past where they originally were. So Captain Marvel is going to come out in between the Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2. And then after Part 2, the Inhumans come out, which makes me think the Inhumans will just be a part of...
They pushed back Thor as well, didn't they?
Yes, they had to, just to get Spidey
like
to fit
6
in
months.
there. But from what I understand, Tony is going to be testing Spidey in Civil War to see if he even belongs. Or he's going to do that in the standalone Spider-Man movie. That way Sony can have Tony come in and boom, they instantly make money.
That's what my
as
next
soon as Robert
question
Downey
was.
Jr. shows up, Sony has now successfully sold Spider-Man.
Right.
So
That was my next question: is how do you think to stay in the topic of Spider-Man, moving into the Avengers for Civil War purposes? How would you set up the Spider-Man movie? Like, how is it gonna? Because this has got to be roll in, right.
Well, you
into
can't tell the origin story again. I'm sorry. No one needs to know he's been bitten by a radioactive fucking spider. The only way I see them doing that is if it was literally like a 40-second, comic book page turn where it's like radioactive spider, this, boom, Barry Jane Parker, this, this,
And
okay.
it zooms out, and,
And
then
then
it's him in his normal life already. And that your opening credit sequence.
But
is
there's-
almost like
there's one moment in Civil War that if they do it, can alter how people look at the character of Spider-Man in the movies if they actually have him unmask.
Right.
Like in front of people like he does in the comics where he goes, my name's Peter Parker, and for the past 15 years, I've been Spider-Man. Boom. That puts a whole different landscape because then you can say every fucking villain is gunning for him, and that makes the landscape even crazier.
Right.
Now, another thing, just to add another twist into this, the people who have been attached to playing Spider-Man all line up with the possibility of Spider-Man being Miles Morales.
Also true.
So would that change? I mean, because I know Nick has desired an expression to see Peter Parker done right.
Right. No, I don't want Miles Morales. I mean, I understand because there's been so many different iterations of Spider-Man just recently, where you would want to, but I want to see a good Peter Parker done by Marvel. When does the movie come out? When is Spider-Man slated for?
2017, I do believe.
Now, is that so? That's before of
It's
the
like
next
July
Avengers, right?
2017. Yeah.
Does that go after Civil War?
Yes.
Okay.
So it'd be like Civil War, Black Panther. I want to say it's like Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Thor. There's Guardians 2 is in there. Can't forget Guardians 2. Can't remember that. And then it'll move into the Infinity War. You'll have your Captain Marvel, the Infinity War Part 2, and the Inhumans, which Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been just literally setting the entire... It's so crazy. If you don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and you are huge into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I suggest you rethink that. The show is kind of slow, but it sets up such a good story that they are building... I mean, right now, in this season, they're already setting up Civil War. And they've already set up the Inhumans, and the Inhumans doesn't come out for another 4 years. Think about that. They're building their movie universe off of the TV show for the future. That's a huge risk to take as Marvel. You've done so well with just the movies, banging movie out after movie after movie, and they've all done very well. 10 in a row they've been #1 box office opening weekend in a row. I mean, in and of itself, it's insane.
I think that one thing that Spider-Man will do, like if there is a positive other than anything else that we mentioned, is that it will freshen up the Marvel lineup.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Drastically, because one of my worries is that with all these films, you get your side films, Ant-Man, Black Panther, that's going to take a little bit of a leap of faith to get the average moviegoer to want to go see that film.
Oh yeah.
Not just he was in Avengers or he's associated. With Spider-Man, that's another headline act that you can bring in, just lasso him in and go Spider-Man, and he's with Tony or he's with Cap, whatever.
They kind of prove, though, that they don't need established or big superheroes to make good
Of
movies
course,
because
of course not.
Iron Man was not all that big when the Iron
B-roll.
Man came. Yeah.
Guardians.
Guardians.
D-roll,
Thor wasn't even all that big.
C-roll.
Yeah. I mean, Cap is, but
Cap is still B-roll. I don't
Yeah.
care. He is not the heaviest hitter for Marvel.
no, I mean,
Really, if you're talking heavy hitters for Marvel,
X-Men,
Wolverine, you've got Hulk.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Hulk is, even though it's so funny because the Hulk comics are awful, the Hulk movies have not been that great. But for some reason, Hulk is such a lovable character because he's so human until he's not. He's so normal until he's not. To counter you, I just want to say I want it to be Miles Morales as Spider-Man because as good as it is to continue to tell Peter Parker's story over and over and over, if they set up Miles Morales in this universe and they do it right, they'll set him up. And guess what? In continuity, Peter Parker is still very much alive against Miles Morales, and they're kind of friends. So at some point, you could bring Peter in and make it two Spider-Men, two different powers, and it could be epic if done properly.
yeah. I just, honestly, I just want to see a good Venom story.
You and me both.
No, you're not wrong, because what was that guy's name? Topher Grace.
Yeah.
That was the shittiest looking Venom they could have done. That was just.
God.
Speaking of Spider-Man, there's something that me and Nate are going to be doing. Just a bit of a plug. We're going to be doing our very first riff track with the Spider-Man, like the original Tobey Maguire, that from that era. So eventually, we're going to get to Spider-Man 3, and we're going to actually get to watch it and talk about it.
Oh, I'll shit all over that movie.
Anyway,
I mean, just being honest.
I mean, you and me both, but there are a few redeeming qualities about it. But we'll move on, and I guess it's my topic.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll change back up to video games, and this is sort of like an add-on to Nick's topic a little bit, because it has to do with basically with exclusives. Now, you can arguably say that last year, as far as quality exclusives go, Nintendo took it.
Hands down.
Yep.
When you think about it,
Smash,
Fuck.
cart.
it
Okay,
is
so yeah.
quality exclusives. Now, with this year, the landscape's a little different, because two of the biggest games of that were coming out this year just got pushed back to next year. Uncharted and Zelda.
Yep.
And the one game that's coming out that's massive this year isn't an exclusive. Batman.
Batman, MGS,
Metal Gear.
MGS.
Metal Gear, and of course you got your regular stuff. So my question is, without those two games, you have your Uncharted, which is your Sony flagship. You have your Zelda, Nintendo flagship. Who takes it this year?
We still have Nintendo is still supposed to come out with Star Fox.
They are, yes.
And that's a huge title because it hasn't been to rekindle,
And
essentially.
it could. It definitely could. It could be your sleeping giant for them.
I think it just depends on, honestly, what happens in the holiday season, because we have known that sometimes Nintendo plays it close to the chest.
Mm-hmm.
They won't reveal their entire game plan until right at E3 or maybe just a little bit after.
Okay.
And then they might sock everyone in the mouth with another, oh, wow, I didn't even fucking think they'd do that
Mm-hmm.
game. Or, oh, this is a new title, a new IP that is mind-blowing.
See, and I wanted to say that about Nintendo and the new IP. They're trying new stuff, but it's not all of it's catching, because Codename Steam just came out on the 3DS. Has anybody heard about that?
Yes.
At all?
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I've not played it.
Exactly. I mean, we've heard of it, but we haven't heard. It's not terrifically outstanding. You have Splatoon.
Splatoon
Yeah.
looks interesting.
Splatoon's coming out. That's like you're supposed to. That's supposed to be like your kiddie version of like Call of Duty, or something.
Huh.
For like we use it's kind of like an online shooter type thing.
Okay.
It's kind of a weird mix between Call of Duty, Plants vs Zombies, and Ink,
Okay.
or something like that.
It makes it more. I mean, for an older player, it's very tactical.
okay.
When you look at it,
Yeah.
it can be tacked.
Right now, because things can change by E3. We know this.
Right. Absolutely.
Right now, who takes it?
Xbox.
Xbox.
I don't know of an Xbox title that's exclusive that comes out this year.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. Yeah.
Halo 5.
Halo 5. Forza.
Timeout. Okay. Well, just literally based off of you saying Halo, because I know how that market runs when people get a new Halo. It's the most insane shit you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
I know I worked the Halo 3 launch. I worked the midnight opening, played till 3 or 4, and then I had to get up and go to work at 7 a.m., open the store, and sell more fucking copies.
Fuck yeah.
I barely slept, and it was insane. Lines out the door for 2 straight days for that game.
Now, okay, PlayStation does have a lot that they're holding close to the chest at this point.
Well, they've said every studio is making a game
They're making
for the
something.
PS4.
Yes,
so,
exactly. So there's something they're going to reveal stuff, definitely down the line. But for them, thankfully they have like a game that scored really well for them, exclusive to the PS4, Bloodborne. The guys that made Dark Souls apparently have done a great job with this. I haven't played it, but I mean it's reviewing well with both the critics and the fans, and that is something that the PS4 has lacked probably I think since launch. Not the fact it hasn't had any good games, but one of those games that's like, okay, this is a reason to buy the system.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your system seller.
Yeah. And Xbox, I don't really feel like Xbox has had that either. I mean, other than you've had Forza and Forza Horizons.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. But Forza and Forza Horizons are going to sell for all your racing fans.
Yeah. But is that going to bring the massive people in? I mean,
No.
If they hadn't botched the Halo thing, and the Halo thing was really the Halo Master Chief Collection. That was
Right.
that's like saying, guys, no Halo this year, but come on back, please, because this will prepare you for 5 when it comes out. They really haven't had one either. Nintendo last year had tons of reasons to buy their products. Like you had Mario Kart moved units, Smash Brothers on both systems moved units.
Yeah.
And bleeding over into this year, you had of course Zelda. with that. But I mean, but if you want to talk about last year, I mean, those 2 games alone for them did massive business.
Well,
Question:
What?
Amiibos.
I was.
Do they
God
count?
damn it! You took my fucking words.
We're on the same page right here.
I'm serious. Because I was just gonna say, really, money wise, if you're talking monetarily speaking, I think that Nintendo can run the gamut because of their amiibos. As a collector, I know that I know how people crave them.
As long as they can keep the Steam going, because I understand why they went to that model. The lack of like a third party, developers.
Skylanders or
Well, like not even that. It's just the lack of those developing teams not creating like really like good quality products that are coming out for the other systems to help move your systems. Like having another reason to hold on to the games that you're playing, to collect these little things. I mean, Skylanders has been so successful. Disney has been so successful. So
Xbox has this. I mean, no matter how you look at it, right now, obviously at E3, PlayStation could announce some new games or whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is you've got your shooter covered massively, right? Like the Halo, other than Call of Duty, but Call of Duty's shared by everybody.
Yeah.
No one has a first-party shooter that can even come close to Halo in size,
definitely not to that scale.
and fan base. Then you've got your adventure game on lock.
Yep.
And even if it does come to PlayStation, I mean, this year it won't be. So
no, because it's right now it's tentatively slated to release in either like late October, December.
Right.
Because they want a little bit of a gap between Halo and that.
Yeah, and then
But they want it out before holiday.
right, and then you've got your racer. So I mean, you've got your different genres all locked down.
Oh yeah.
It would be very hard for PlayStation to come with something right now, because
It's good. Yeah, they're gonna have to come out with something that is like.
they don't have a shooter, right?
No, I mean.
Because
no.
Killzone, but they're not going to come out with a Killzone this fast, and even Killzone isn't going to touch.
no.
No, and like the only other series that they could really bring up that could have the name power would be God of War, and they're bringing that out for free, but it's a HD remaster.
It's an HD,
and
yeah.
it's coming out. In
I
July.
heard that there was a 4th God of War in production
I
right now.
I heard that they're not touching Ascension. Well, see, there is a new God of War. There definitely is a brand new one, but it's not coming out this year.
Okay, well
I guess Gran Turismo maybe.
Knowing how they develop, it's probably not coming out this year.
It's knowing how they develop. It's probably not coming out for 6 years.
Yeah, and at least, never mind.
Do you think the non-console exclusives, like, okay, so do you think that maybe your
That's not exclusive.
your
That's not
Arkham
exclusive.
your Arkham Knight will sell more on the PS4? Because I honestly do. I don't see it having massive numbers on Xbox. I
They have
see
the
most.
install base.
Yeah, exactly. There's more PS4s out there.
And then the same thing for your MGS as a owner of Metal Gear. You're not. Why would you buy it on Xbox?
it's blasphemy,
Right?
I mean, you really don't know what the fuck you're doing if you buy it on
That's
Xbox.
funny because I remember years ago you got so excited when Rising was coming out for Xbox. You're like, dude, Metal Gear's coming to Xbox. Because you buying it? I'm like, for PS3. You're like, why would you buy it for 360? It's cool. It's coming out for that. And I'm like, because I'm not a trader.
Yeah, well,
That game doesn't count.
it really
Okay,
did. It was a
okay.
totally different
That's
thing.
a different topic for a different podcast.
But in closing here, if I were to surmise my opinion of who will ultimately win this year in the console war, I'm standing by Nintendo. They've got something up their sleeve. They're not going to go, oh, well, Zelda got pushed back and we've got nothing else for you. They have something, and even right now, they haven't announced it. You just know how they do business. They're very methodical. They take their time. They put out good products. E3 happens.
That's one thing is that Nintendo never puts out a product that doesn't work.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. And that's why if we're voting here, that'd be my vote.
I'm sticking with Xbox.
I'm going to say Xbox takes it this year. Just even those 3 games alone, even if they have a few others, they've got the market covered.
They're huge titles with huge fan bases, and they cover a whole span of genres.
Mm-hmm.
My argument is Nintendo lacks the third party.
Yeah.
But if you're involving the amiibo, that's hard to, right now. I mean, you can't hardly find the ones that you want. I mean,
I know. The only one I need is Pit. Thank you.
It's super hard. Like, I know that I look almost every day.
I mean, are they creating their own demand though?
Well, you think about it. It's a collectible, and you can use
right, but by supplying a limited number of things, you create an artificial hype or an artificial demand for it.
But you can say that for.
But just like with
iPhone does it.
But just
plenty
like
of
with
companies.
pop vinyl, Amiibos, they say, well, Pitt's not the most celebrated character, so maybe we'll only do a one-time run of him, which they did. Then they retired him. They'll never do another run of the first run of Pitt. That's it. Then you look at, well, Link's a very popular character. I can go to any fucking Walmart, Target, wherever, and find Link like there's no tomorrow.
But
so
when it came out, I couldn't find a Link anywhere.
Also true. That was a thing where it was more shortage because everyone was like, well, I can't fucking get the ones I really want. Looks like I'll get Link. I'll get, your Yoshi and your Mario and Peach.
For the most part, I believe that the Amiibos do have hype. I do believe that they do, especially create their own hype by shortaging. But as he said, I do believe there's a business sense as to why they short certain characters because
Absolutely.
When Mega Man and Sonic first came out, we couldn't find them, and now they're everywhere.
Because they're popular characters.
Because as soon as they came out, people were like, "Oh, new wave! We got to go run out and get them."
Yep.
And then as soon as they're more popular characters, so now they're more stocked.
Right.
Or whereas a Pit or a
It's
Wii
not
Fit trainer,
it's not that's not what I'm saying. Is I'm saying that they're only giving stores such a small amount, so that whenever you go in there, it's like fuck, they're sold out. And so then every time you do that, then it's like fuck, I really every time I go to the store, I'm looking to see like, do they have that Pit? Do they have that Pit? And then when it comes out, it's like boom, grab it. And so that's what I just think that they're doing is. They are, because I've heard stories like how many times have you heard that? Oh, well, we barely got any.
Oh, I mean that's hashtag Amiibo life because every store we only got 3, we only got 1,
and
we
that's what
only
I'm
got
getting at.
6.
That's a business model right there.
I mean, in a lot of ways, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
Because that's what, like I said, Apple was the fucking master of this, where they kept doing this thing where it's like, oh, well, we're only sending stores 3 of these fucking iPhone 6 Pluses.
So then 7,000 people line up for that
And
phone.
everybody fucking lines up for it. And then when it's like, oh, man, we couldn't get it. And everybody's all pissed. And then,
Wait a couple months.
yeah, a month later, it's like, oh, you want an iPhone 6 Plus? What fucking color you want? We got it in every color,
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, to finish my thought is, you also look at Xbox. Xbox has that third party. You can play the Batman. You can play, quote unquote, Battlefront. That is still hasn't been actually announced on the time of when they're going to release it, but it's coming. We all know it's coming. But
So, real quick, you never did say. So your vote is Xbox.
Nintendo.
He argued for fucking
I argued for
Xbox
both sides.
and then voted
pulled the
for
fast
fucking
one.
Nintendo.
Well, I just looking at, Star Fox. Star Fox has been dead for a long time.
Bringing that back is
Bringing
gonna,
a new Star Fox back is huge. I know that the day one I will be standing in line to get one because I love Star Fox.
Hell yeah! So yeah, it was essentially a 4-way
It
tie.
But so here's the only thing I'm going to throw in there. I feel like I want to give me and Brandon a hand for throwing our bias aside.
I do agree with
Because
that
because I feel
that.
like some people might not have thrown their bias aside.
And what's crazy is that in last generation I was so pro Xbox 360. I probably got like over 120 titles for Xbox 360, and then PS4 showed me the light, and I jumped ship. I had to. I don't believe in what the Xbox One is doing. I don't believe in that system, and I don't know that I'll ever own one. Maybe someday down the road I'll get one, but maybe not.
I will say to finish up this whole topic, I really enjoy what Phil Spencer's doing to turn that damn company around.
He's trying.
yeah.
He gets it.
And
He's a gamer.
He is.
He's a
gets it.
gamer. He knows what they want, and he knows what needs to be done to get that
He knows
company
what-
moving.
He knows what it needs to be done to keep that company, keeping the customers coming to them. Because to turn that around and try to dominate and like not give into what they want, to me, like that was the arrogance that Matrick brought in. He's like, no, we're going to give you this, and when they spit on it, now of course they have to do that because it's like they have to follow the lead, right? They have to try and keep up. But Spencer's so laid back is that it's like he doesn't hold anything back. He doesn't hide anything. It's like he says, hey, I know everyone's saying, oh, DirectX 12 is going to come out and going to have Xbox One support and it's going to change everything. He's like, no, it's going to make some stuff run better, but it's not going to change everything. Trust me. It's going to have a really minute
Effect on it.
effect on it.
Yeah.
So I really liking him. I'm really liking the direction they're going. I'm not a huge fan of the system. It could be a lot better, but at the end of the day, it'll be a good platform. In the next 5 years, after 5 or 7 years have gone down the road, the Xbox One will be a good platform.
It'll go like the PlayStation 3 did.
Yeah.
But
Most
the one thing
likely.
I want to say is, I'm going to buy an Xbox this year because Forza's coming out, and I've gone too long without a racing game.
Okay.
So I'll buy an Xbox this year, and I was gonna say that's, kind of use that as to drive home my point about Xbox winning. And then I realized that I bought a new 3DS.
There you go.
So shit.
So we'll go ahead and wrap this section of the show up. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to hear for the first time in the entire the entire weekend. We're going to finally get to hear from our good friend Silent Rob, who's on the show today. You maybe hear him and maybe not. All right, folks, thanks for hanging out with us while we were on our little short 2-second break that we never really left for you guys, but that's the power of editing. So we're back. I'm going to get right into this first topic, or this next topic, my final topic of the evening. I would like to know what these guys consider their centerpiece, their holy grail, their most prized possession in their collections. Now, this is not confined to one specific thing you collect. I'm talking the one thing that you have in your world that no amount of money or prying from your cold, dead hands would allow you to just go, okay, fine, take it. I don't need it. You can't see yourself ever parting with it. And I'm going to go ahead and throw a curveball and say, Brando, you're going first.
Chrono Trigger complete in box, Super Nintendo.
See how fucking awesome and fast that was? That was great.
I mean, there's only so many things that I can say that are truly on that level. I mean, that is my number 2 favorite game of all time, and I have FF7 complete. I've had that for years, but to find Chrono Trigger complete in box with the manual cart with as good a shape as it in with the box and all the other and also the posters, that's on another level. So I'd have to say that.
Okay. I know you, and I know that you are such a huge fan of Chrono Trigger, so it doesn't really surprise me that's your answer. But I love that answer. So fuck yeah. Mike.
My Metroid poster.
Okay. It's a cloth poster, I guess. I've seen it, so
Yeah,
I
It's
can.
like more like a drape thing.
It's a drape. It's like a drape poster. It's see through, but it's still a poster. But I actually had to very much persuade this man to let go of it because they don't make them anymore, and he did not want to get rid of it.
Did he say how he got a hold of one, or
A lot of his stuff comes by donation. He has
Really?
And also-
so much Metroid.
You can get those not necessarily that Metroid, but those style posters are very hot and popular in Japan. So if you want a different character, the best way to always do is look up on different Japanese websites. J-pop. I can't remember what that website's called.
J-pop. I think it is.
Is it
Play
J-pop?
Asia, maybe?
Play Asia.
Play
Thank
Asia.
you.
Okay. Now that same fella that had the Metroid, that one, he also has a big statue of Master Chief from Halo 2.
Oh, it's
And
huge.
Nate, you saw that when we went game hunting back in September because you were like, "How much is that?" And they're like, "It's not for sale." In fact, they have a,
It's not for
not for sale, and people still ask.
Yeah, he has some of the stuff that I've never seen of Metroid. Like, I've been a massive fan. I actually have every one but one right now.
Metroid for the NES.
Physical copy, no, because I do not have
An NES. Okay.
But
fair
I
enough.
do have digital. I factor in my digitals because
Okay.
I don't want to track those down. But I technically do have a physical copy of it on the GBA.
There you go.
Oh, yes, he does. Yeah, yeah.
So,
it's a remake.
But yeah, he literally was like, no. I was like, you have two. He goes, no. And I fought and fought and fought. He finally gave it to me. But
Awesome. I love it. I think it's great. You, Nick.
My motorcycle.
Fuck yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, it's a 1992 Suzuki Katana 600,
Color.
yes.
purple.
I fucking love the color purple.
And
No
black.
shame in that. So the Undertaker.
If only we had a button that said, "I love purple" from the first Batman film from Vicky Vale. If only we had a button, that would have been perfect.
No, it's a family heirloom, so I'll never get rid of it.
Cool. Things that get passed down, man. That's it's really hard for me. Part of me wants to talk about the toys and stuff that I have, but really my guitar collection. There's almost every guitar I have is like I could never see myself parting with any of them. They all have, every guitar I have has a different story, and I've played it and done different things with it, or recorded, or they have different sounds, and they're my expression, I guess.
You also have like a really deep tie-in with your father.
That is also very true. Dad and I being able to, I mean, it's one experience to like be brothers and be in a band. The Abbotts, Diamond and Vinny. It's a whole nother different, strange mashup of feelings when your dad's the one that's behind you on the drums, and you have this guy who raised you, and you're very respectful towards him. And it's like, well, I'm on stage, and I like to cuss on stage, so it looks like I'm fucking cussing on stage. Let's fucking party, And then it gets different because then there's real life animosity. Me and him are father and son. Of course, we're going to butt heads. So what do we do every practice? We fucking butt heads. But that's just life, So the whole entirety of music, the collective music collection that me and my dad share is also kind of family heirloom-esque. So I would probably say anything involving the music. Man, I mean, like Dad's Excalibur, Gibson Les Paul standard is the one guitar no one could pry from my cold dead hands because I love it so much. So, yeah, I think that was a good quick topic to get us right back on things after my half-hour intro. Fucking bastards me.
Oh yeah. Well, who is your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
That was really not what I thought. I thought we were gonna get Arnold, and it
I
wasn't.
know. That's why I said it. I was like, who's your daddy and what does he do? He's like, well, he's my drummer.
Kindergarten cop. Awesome. So we will now move on, and I'm honestly super excited to answer your question that your next topic is about. So why don't you introduce us to what's going on?
Tell the future?
Maybe, unless you changed your topic.
No, I didn't.
Oh, fuck.
The audience doesn't know that.
Oh, shit.
No, this is our video game dream project. I want to know, out of any IP, what it would be, and who you would have make it. Points for creativity. Go ahead, Mike.
Ooh, don't put me on the spot first. I have to think about this.
Okay, go ahead, Brandon.
Mega Man, created by Mr. Hideo Kojima.
Wow.
That would be...
Explain.
Think about, okay, you have your hero, Solid Snake. Okay. Then think of the villains. Think of all the weird villains that Mega Man has. Think about all the cool things you could do with all those really supernatural superpowers. Not only that, but then all the twists and turns. You can do a lot of cool things with that.
Wily Hound.
Wily
Wily Hound.
So how would you name all of the Mega Man characters in that? Because it wouldn't, because it's like Bomb Man or.
Okay.
So would it be? Everybody would be Fox?
No.
Fox?
Mantis Man.
Mantis Man.
Wolf Man.
I'm not saying make
Octopus
a mashup.
Man.
I'm not saying make a mashup. I'm just saying
Revolver Man?
Like take
Ocelot Man.
Ocelot Man.
Raven Man.
I'm not saying make him bring Metal Gear to necessarily to Mega Man. I'm saying let him take Mega Man, make him make Bomb Man a much more interesting character. Make him take Quick Man or Cut Man.
That's different.
And
Would this be like a dark Mega Man? Like,
it could be
like some.
a Kojima version of Mega Man.
Be a real
There was
story.
already a Mega Man-esque character in the Metal Gear universe.
There was
Specifically at the end of MGS1.
Yeah, but he's not Mega Man.
He's better.
That's an argument for another day.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's
not
save
go into
that.
that, 'cause
It's the Blue Bomber.
So, what about you?
I actually would like to see a Metroid and Final Fantasy mashup.
Like an RPG Metroid.
Like an RPG Metroid game.
Made by who?
Honestly, it'd be Square Enix.
Okay.
You think Square Enix?
Okay.
I would say Squaresoft, but
okay.
Square Enix. But it would just be. I mean, I love the Mega Man. I love the Final Fantasy series. I love the way that they tell a story. Every story they tell. I mean, you guys have played them. They tell a in-depth and amazing story. Metroid has never had that. It's been, hey, here's Samus. She's thrown on a planet. Kill things. Survive.
That's
Get off
true.
the planet.
Yeah.
What about really telling a real story and like really getting those characters into like just going into what makes them them.
almost make them vulnerable
Exactly.
by the way that Final Fantasies are told. Because the
Exactly.
Final Fantasy characters, let's be for real, they're very raw emotions of who they are.
Yep.
No character in Final Fantasy is a shadow of what they actually are. They are exactly who you know they are, and you know how their emotions run, and you can tell the heroes and the villains, and that's so yeah. To make Metroid be very, very open and raw and real, I think that'd be really cool to see. Absolutely.
Be amazing. That
Oh, it's my turn.
it's yours.
I'm probably going to shock the fuck out of you guys. You're not even ready for this. So, the property would be Spider-Man, done by Rocksteady. An open world Spider-Man game. Okay, all of New York, 100% map, wide open. Okay.
Oh wow.
Where you've got villains, you've got side quests, you've got the Easter eggs. There's so much shit. Spider-Man is such a longevity for a character. He has such longevity, and come on, 1963.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you've got a lot to work with. Just put it in a fucking video game and do it right. There's never been a Spider-Man that has been 100% kick-ass. There's been some really good Spider-Man games. There's been some really fun Spider-Man games, but there's never been one game where it's everything that you could imagine and then some. And I know that Rocksteady could do it. They've done it with Batman. They've proven that they can take one guy and re-envision the whole game. Their fighting system is brilliant, the way they do the fighting. So with Spider-Man, it wouldn't be any different. You'd have it'd be awesome,
Well,
right?
Like Brandon, how you got me into it was you feel like you are Batman.
Yes.
That essentially, when you play the game, you are the way he moves, the way he does stuff. He's not. It's just
He's so
everything.
fluid.
He's so fluid.
This isn't Batman Year One. Okay, Origins maybe, yeah, but in the Arkham games, you are a well-seasoned.
Scene.
He's a scene kid.
He's seen kids.
He's a scene bat. But no, he's a well-seasoned, trained.
I think.
Almost assassin.
I think
He's not quite the assassin. He won't go that far, but you feel like you're on that par. Yeah.
And just to reiterate, Batman is not a goddamn robot with bunny ears.
No, he isn't.
Okay. Let's just set the record straight. Convergence.
Well, to top on that, to think about it, had basically taking Grand Theft Auto and putting Spider-Man in it.
That was Spider-Man 2, basically.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
done right. Where okay, for example, you have whether it's a scanner or something, some kind of radio that you'd have, and they would call a bunch of different crimes, and maybe one time you go to this random bank robbery and it's actually fucking Mysterio. It's not just a bunch of bullshit robbers. It's much more difficult than what you were expecting.
Right.
So you have to kind of plan, and then maybe in the middle of fighting Mysterio, you hear that someone who's much more crazy than Mysterio and is threatening to kill people is on the loose, and you have to go, well, either I wrap this up really quick or people are going to die, and you have to make choices. That would be a great game. Spider-Man having to make the choice of who lives and who dies.
Yeah.
not basing, and this is a big one too, because we don't have too many of these. With that same vein, not basing the Spider-Man game off of any other media, like not a movie tie-in. It has to be its own derivative.
Comics. It's from
It's just like the Arkham games. They brought in several things from the comics, the animated series, the movies, and made their own.
Tell their own story.
Made their own unique universe. They just took so much from all the different aspects of Batman
And
to make their own universe.
There's love in those games.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell they love that property, and that's one thing that Spidey needs. Someone who goes, okay, I get you, caress it nice and slowly, let's get it, So, exactly. Oh, shit, all over the wall. Yeah, I love that topic. But
what was yours?
with Konami, basically just like fucking their whole company up by getting rid of Mr. Kojima, I would actually like to see, wouldn't it be amazing if someone like Naughty Dog was to acquire the rights to Metal Gear? He saw it coming. Yeah. But just think of like a coherent Metal Gear storyline.
I love that, coherent.
But because Naughty Dog would bring that, and then they would, So I know, I've heard people talk about this, everything's open world now, and they've got the open world Metal Gear. But what if you did MGS1? You can't really have Shadow Moses open world. It doesn't work like that. But Naughty Dog makes the best linear games, right? They make the fucking best linear games. If they remade MGS1, you know, and that style with all that cinematic that they, you know, God, not since the, you know, old Metal Gear games has there ever been anything so cinematic. And if you could bring that back to Metal Gear, and it'd be so fucking cool.
I think the closest thing that we've come since that to that it would be The Last of Us.
Exactly, and it's like, it's my favorite franchise, my favorite studio. If they could just come together and fuck.
If those two babies met and fucked.
All right, yeah, hell yeah. I'd be really down with that. I really want to see what they do with it.
It's the product of baby fucking.
That's not a topic I ever thought we'd talk about.
Oh,
No.
and get the original voice actors back.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, because there's no doubt that Sutherland probably will not be back if they do another one.
Oh,
No.
you know what?
His relationship was with Kojima.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what's interesting, to not to Shanghai and jump back, one thing that would be cool about Spidey, if you did it right and you worked with Marvel, you could get property to have Cap make an appearance, Iron Man make appearances, so you could really draw, and maybe at some point they release an all Marvel universe game as Rocksteady, you know. So
Oh yeah. As a bonus pick, because I was originally thinking of a Rocksteady game too, but I thought, what if you had an Avengers game by BioWare?
oh my
Oh, wow.
You mean Avengers with like a morality system?
Even better. I was just thinking, you know how they are with their storytelling, their
Oh, of
characters,
course.
and can you imagine? And do it just kind of like your Dragon Age, where you had the bickering between like Cap and Iron Man as they're running around. Fuck.
Thor and the Hulk and all that stuff.
How
That'd be great.
crazy would that game be?
And you're in control of what team you have.
Yes.
Like, oh my God. That would
I
be
mean, you
brilliant.
get to select too. Like, you know, for mission, you got the Avengers roster. Here you go. You know, you're taking this guy, this guy, this guy.
and it could
mean-
totally fuck you.
Yep. You
And
go back.
Yeah, and meanwhile, you know, as you said, with that, you can develop those characters so beautifully because that's something that BioWare. I mean, yeah, they tell great stories, but the secret to their success is within their characterization. They create so many great characters.
Oh yeah, and just imagine having like Stark Tower as your Normandy, where you go back and you just build relationships. You know.
You got people that work in Stark Tower for actually it'd probably be more accurately to call it Avengers Tower.
Avengers Tower.
And then
right?
you have people that work in the building just as normal people that you can have these normal like little regular
yeah.
life relationships with, as at the same time having all these big name heroes, and it would be really interesting.
Who would you play as like the main character? Because with the BioWare games, you always have your central main character. A lot of them you create your own, but in this case, would you play as Iron Man? Would you play as Cap?
I almost think you got to create your own Avenger.
Yeah, I would say create your own Avenger.
Archetype would be very easy. You'd have your power, you know, your stealth, your speed. You know, you'd have all your different categories, different.
Oh yeah.
You rise up, and then it's like you prove yourself in some big thing, just kind of like an Inquisition or something.
Yeah.
where you're like,
Instead
oh,
of having like a race system, use that as like your, you know, what kind of powers, and then you know you can actually even branch off in your trees and have different powers.
But you
throughout.
could bring species into it in your race. I mean, really, you could have Kree, and you could have
I guess you could bring species into it, and then your class, huh?
yeah,
Well, you also think about it. It would be you could make it open galaxy, where you
Open
could.
galaxy, fucking huge.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about.
Fuck.
Think of how many areas they actually like the universe takes place in, like all these fights and stuff take place in. You could just pretty much tell the story again, but
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the story's there. The characters are there. You could just develop them even further.
Then we'll see. You know, you could do something like that. You could start on Earth and then go
Oh,
on
yeah.
Thanos or whatever.
Do open galaxy and use Skyrim's method for fast travel,
Oh wow.
Wow.
so you never beat the game.
Episode 295 of Journey into Comics. Everybody's been like, well, unfortunately, yeah, Brandon's gone. Everybody, he left it. Episode 294. He's been playing the BioWare Avengers game for 8,000 hours. You know, he still hasn't fucking beat it.
No, he's on his like 12th full playthrough of a whole new character and species.
Right,
and
yeah.
He's only
power.
gotten to Detroit.
Oh wow.
Well, I do believe we have exhausted that topic.
It was an awesome topic,
good.
though. It had a
Yeah,
lot of
last
good.
one was
Good. I believe we're
Pretty
to
good.
Mike now for your final topic.
Unless he decides to, you know,
Pull a Mulligan.
pull him.
Do over later. No, I did have a topic, but you totally like left hooked me with that. Like I had no idea that's where you're going. I had it thought, and I was like, all right, he's about done. I'm gonna say it, and then you, oh well, my second For my second pick.
I also realized, because I was originally going to say that, and then he had a Marvel one, and then I just wanted to be a Metal Gear fanboy.
There you go.
No,
Sucking on that Metal Gear titty.
I'll straight up suck that Metal Gear dick. Bring Rex over here.
That's a button. 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 30 seconds. I would straight up suck that Metal Gear dick. Nick Torres. Boom.
It works for now. So as of right now, no.
You're out of topics. It's respectable, man. Happens.
Maybe.
It happens to
We'll
the best
roll
of us.
through, finish out.
It's okay. We got more surprises for people later tonight. We're gonna get to know our co-hosts and really get to know how sick you fuckers are. You guys won't know when this drops, but I will say that we are gonna be releasing sometime a holiday bullshit too.
Yeah, I wonder when that comes out.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
There's no impending holidays, are there?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Okay.
Zombie Jesus Day
there-
doesn't count.
Is there like a good day of the week coming?
Thursday?
No, well, I never heard of a good Thursday.
I was going to say that this certain day is good every day, but then I would just ruin the joke.
We're gonna release it on 420, obviously. Let's. I mean, come on now.
Hitler's birthday.
Yep.
What?
It's for 20, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Hitler's...
And,
didn't know that?
And dude, dude, we can't do that because that's also the day of Columbine.
No wonder he liked to smoke so much.
We're not celebrating Columbine.
Columbine bullshit.
The Guns edition.
Oh,
I had a terrible joke in there. I hope it got walked over.
I think so because I don't think I heard it. But
Okay, good.
anyway, I have a topic.
okay,
I have a
Brandon.
topic. All right. So this was a topic that me and Nick started back in early February, and I told him to stop because I'm like, this would be a good topic for the show because we have been planning the show for quite some time. To get everything to happen sort of like this takes time. But anyway, here's the question. Currently, you have the Marvel Cinematic Universe going strong, right? Going strong. It's a product of its time, as any movie is, really. But there was another set of superhero films that came out on this turn of the century that can be arguably said to be iconic. Okay, the first real set of movies that we got for a hero that were from beginning to end fantastic. Which one is going to hold up better over time? Like, okay, say it's 25 years, just like now. Let's look back at 25 years ago. Okay?
And they're hugging.
Okay, yeah.
That should have been... That was a photo op.
It was.
We're gonna look back at 25 years ago and see how well that some of those movies hold up today. Could it not? What is gonna hold up better 25 years from now? The current run of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the Dark Knight trilogy?
Wow, that is a intense fucking question. Now, who do you want to start answering?
Mike, you didn't have a topic.
There you go.
So I'm going to you. What is gonna hold up better? The current run of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay, I mean, it's pretty much, you could probably go back to Iron Man till now. I mean, think about it.
Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Captain America, Thor, Avengers. Then you had after Avengers, what was fucking? Yeah, Iron Man 3, Cap 2,
Thor 2.
Guardians, Thor 2, Guardians, and then now Age of Ultron. So Age of Ultron will be the 11th
Think
film.
you need a PD?
There you go.
But anyway, just kind of compare the two. What in 25 years down the road, what do you think is going to hold up better, the Marvel movies or the Dark Knight trilogy?
Well, see, that's a really hard question because when you think about it, what happens if they create another Batman series?
Of course.
That is mind-blowing. I mean, to be honest, I don't know we don't know what's happening with the Marvel series other than the hearsay. We haven't seen it. We don't know what's going on yet.
And it's not over. I understand.
It's not over.
That's why I made sure to say
Up until this point.
Up until this point.
But I say Batman.
You say
the
Dark Knight
Batman's golly. This
Well, I mean, okay, because you have Okay, you have the run of the Marvel Cinematic Universe going up to this point, and it's fantastic and it's great. The same with the Dark Knight trilogy. It was done tremendously well. It was the first actual, from beginning to end, story of a superhero character. There is a beginning and an end. Okay, and so both of these franchises are done, yes, to be popcorn flicks. Of course, you're going to get your casual moviegoer to go. I personally feel that the Marvel movies are targeted a little bit more towards that, and movies that do that over time don't necessarily hold up well. And it's sort of like the jokes and the I had another word, not the minutia, because that's what you always want to go back to. The jokes and the stereotypes kind of like label it, stamp it to a certain time. And yes, the Dark Knight trilogy has those, but I don't think it is as commandeering.
Okay. So I have a pretty good argument for this. I can tell you that the cinematic universe will better withstand the test of time. There are a few movies that are within the cinematic universe to this point that are timeless classics. My first reference is obviously Guardians. That is our generation, and you need to be, being honest, that was our generation Star Wars, our first crack. It was a space adventure done right, with a team of people that no one had ever fucking heard of. No one cared about Drax or, it's so strange to me. I'm reading Guardians, and I know about the Guardians, and I know about Groot. I am Groot. And then now, little kids, adults, people on TV, children, references here, references there. Everyone knows Groot. He's a D-list character. Tales to Astonish 13. He used to talk normal. Then they changed him, wrote him differently. So that movie, I guarantee you, 25 years from now, we're going to still go, yeah, that was the start of something really fucking special. On the flip side, Batman, yeah. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, hands up, thumbs up. Awesome movies. The Dark Knight Rises put a really, really awful taste in my mouth, and that is solely the reason that I do not believe that those movies will stand the test of time. Do the first two? Yeah. Does Dark Knight Rises? No. And he said, as a whole, that's where I'm going.
I completely, 100% disagree. This argument actually started with me telling Brandon that I thought these Marvel movies won't hold up. They're too campy. They're gonna come off as campy. Years from now, their effects and all that are gonna be dated. They're just not gonna hold up. The Dark Knight trilogy, I don't know. I'm going to piss people off. I don't know if I can think of a trilogy that is just as fucking good as that.
Lord of the Rings.
No.
Well, you can't see that because Star Wars.
Also,
that's why I knew I was going to piss people off. But
I mean, that's arguable. Star Wars.
The thing is that these are masterpieces of filmmaking, and I know you don't like the third one, but I honestly think you need to go back and rewatch it.
I'm gonna.
Just go back and objectively watch it, because when you so there's a couple disconnects, and you've got to kind of like think to yourself, there's a few weird things with timing and all that, but as you really start to think of the timing and what he has available to him, it almost works out that he could get out of there. But I mean, Christopher Nolan knows how to make a film, and there is no one doing Marvel films that holds up to what he's doing. I mean, is Guardians of the Galaxy a great movie? Yes. Do I think that ever should have got an Oscar? No. I mean, direction, writing, all of that, so solid in The Dark Knight. I just don't think that anything Marvel's doing can hold up.
Interesting point that you brought up, and that Nate said as well, is Nate, you think that the third movie really puts a damper on it. And I know Nick thought the exact same way. And I argued it. I said, you need to watch that movie again. Because at that point, I had just finished watching it for the second time. I hadn't seen it since the movie theater. It didn't leave me with the same feeling as the second one. But what movie, doesn't matter what freaking franchise you're in, can follow the second film of that damn series?
Nothing. I mean,
there are issues, just as Nick said. There are issues with The Dark Knight Rises. There are timing issues, and there are some changes that they did for just for the service of the film. But when you look at the beginning, the second chapter is always left alone in any trilogy, unless there's a direct overarching, like the Lord of the Rings. But
Right.
it's always it's always going to be your shining example of what the best of that is, because they don't have to introduce anything new other than like little things. You know, they don't have to introduce the hero. They don't have to end the hero. Those are the two hardest parts. And so, does the series kind of do this? Yes. But I don't think The Dark Knight Rises ends on such a bad note that it puts a damper on it. I do believe that there are some great Marvel films in the cinematic universe. Fantastic films. I agree. Guardians of the Galaxy is probably one of the better movies I've seen recently.
Cap 2 was fucking awesome.
Cap 2 was great, and Marvel really picked up steam after the Avengers.
Except for Iron Man 3. See,
honestly,
I was gonna almost counter argue myself that Iron Man 3 is the dampening point on the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe because
Iron Man
you
2.
undid Iron Man 2. That doesn't even exist. It did. I mean, it's just Iron Man 2 wasn't that bad. They introduced Whiplash. He's a real character. People were like, "That's not a real guy." Yes, no, he's a real fucking guy. He's just not that popular.
Well, yeah, and
they told a great story. Mickey Rourke was great in that movie, but what they did in 3 and how they took out the arc reactor, what makes Tony Stark Iron Man, what makes him the fucking character that he is, to me, is just the same as Bane sounding like fucking Sean Connery.
you'll get over Bane.
I'm already over Bane. I just joke about it all the time now because it's funny as shit to me.
Oh, it is.
if only I
But
had a cup.
Bane is awesome in that movie. He's well written. He's an amazing character, and I mean, Tom Hardy really pulls some shit off. Like when you get past the voice, and you pointed this out to me, Brandon, is he kind of speaks to you with his eyes because he's got that mask on. He is conveying emotion simply through looks with a fucking lobster on his face.
or Face Sucker from Alien.
Which one of these hoses do you smell out of? Okay,
You now have my permission to
but more to
cry.
my point, as I said, you take the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole, and there are great shining examples in there. And you take the Dark Knight trilogy as a whole. Which one?
I say as a whole, the Batman, because it's a good solid story with, as you said, a beginning and an end. It is a story that stands alone.
I believe, because of the size and scope, and I will say this, because of the size and scope, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be a little bit more difficult to bring in together and tell that masterpiece of a story every time. You're going to have your ones that are like not as good here, not as well there, not as well directed, not as well written, not as, of course with Iron Man 3, they didn't really bring it around like they should have. But unfortunately, they don't have that, like that. Maybe they have a Whedon, but that's on the Avengers. He's not going to be working on every other film.
But they have a Russo brothers now. And the Russo, I don't know if you know this is kind of, hey, guess what? We're actually covering real news because the Russo brothers were just recently announced they are doing both Infinity War Part 1 and 2. So they're taking Captain America. It's so crazy how the Russo brothers are going to end up doing this. Captain America 2 was their launching point for how epic they could tell a story. Then they get Cap 3 for their next movie. And then the next two movies they do after that are they help Sony do Spider-Man, and then they focus on the Infinity War. The Russo brothers will write some real masterpieces, and if anybody can top what Whedon and Nolan can do, it's the Russos, without question.
If you think about it as a whole, though, even if you don't like The Dark Knight, and like I said, give it another, or The Dark Knight Rises, rather.
I'll say I love The Dark
Yeah,
Knight.
if you
I
don't
saw
like
that
The Dark
movie,
Knight, you're an
I saw that
idiot.
movie 18 times in theaters.
It's amazing, but
Wow.
you got to think of what you're following up to, and that's like you said that already,
It's the
Brandon.
Godfather, too.
It is, and you simply can't follow it
Strikes
up.
Back. It's The Empire Strikes Back. I
Well,
mean,
Yeah.
and it's the Mass Effect 2 of the. It's, as I said, the second iteration is always going to be your masterpiece. Not always, but most often, because you don't have to end anything. You can just end it on such a good note, powerful note, and the whole thing can stand by itself and not be affected by the beginning or the end.
Oh yeah,
shit, didn't Dark Knight end on a really dark note with Two-Face dying and then Batman running off from Gordon with dogs
Oh, yeah.
chasing him?
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's another
That
thing.
wasn't a high note. That was a really dark
I was
fucking
saying as
note.
a whole, the
I
whole
know.
middle story as a-
you know they really were able to tell a deep story and a dark story because they didn't. Okay, so the Marvel movies are for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Children and everyone alike, and so they're not going to get into as dark subject matter as what Nolan was able to do with Batman. But as a whole, the Marvel Universe has some really shitty movies in it.
Incredible Hulk was not very good.
Incredible Hulk. I honestly didn't like either of the Thors.
I think Thor is a See, because being a Marvel fanboy, let's just be honest with ourselves here. Thor, if you understand and you like that style of storytelling where it's mythical and blah, 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 like Thor does, yeah, it's an enjoyable film. But I will say that they are probably two of my least favorites in the entire universe.
Yeah. And you know what's wild? I fucking hate DC.
Really?
I fucking hate DC. I've never read a DC comic. I can't stand most of their heroes. In fact, there's only one hero that actually stands out to me, and that is Batman. I think Superman is garbage. I also like that he wasn't drafted.
I thought that the whole time. I wasn't
I
going to
thought
say
about
anything.
it. I thought about it.
No,
wouldn't
I
draft
didn't
him.
need
He
him.
sucks.
No.
I don't like him.
So
He's
as a
the John Cena of superheroes.
Pretty much.
just as a Marvel fanboy, I still just cannot deny the greatness that is the Nolan trilogy.
Part of me also is like, I feel really let down by what Nolan did. Dark Knight, so great. Then, and a part of that is there's this great tragedy of what happens with Heath Ledger, and you lose this actor, and I'm sure Ledger stays alive. We get more Joker. Maybe the trilogy becomes more than a trilogy, However, you don't have that, and instead of going, okay, how can we take this in a totally different direction? They could have done Riddler. They could have done Penguin. They could have done anybody, but they went with Bane, who, yeah, he's super smart. Yeah, he only spent one day to figure out that Bruce Wayne was Batman. I get that. However, it didn't, to me, seem like a story Nolan should be telling when all of his characters are so visceral and just over the top. They're larger than life. And Bane, to me, that iteration did not seem larger than life. He seemed like just a dude with a fucking weird crab mask.
Again, watch it again, because when you really look at Bane and you get over the voice thing, because I know that killed a lot of people. Sorry.
No dying on the podcast.
This is the
kidding.
Marvel. This is like my Marvel fanboy soul. It's like, stop, stop. No.
Meanwhile, there's a certain.
No. Bane is the anti-Batman. He is everything that Bruce is, but better. In that movie.
I get that. I mean, and that's very similar to how he's written in the comics.
When you look at, they didn't do the Venom, of course, because almost everything in a Nolan thing
Is grounded in reality.
He's grounded in reality. You can argue a few things there, but you have the mask that's supposed to dull his pain. Does that just dull his respiratory pain, or does it dull his pain entirely to the point where there's Bruce hitting him as hard as he can, and Bane's like, "Come on."
I mean,
that's that middle part of that movie when he breaks him,
yeah,
and talks shit to him. He does it without effort. He's relaxed when he's doing it.
He's walking around and calmly talking to him and mocking him almost, talking about how distractions and all that don't work against him.
Have you guys ever seen the Everything Wrong With series on YouTube?
Of course.
The Everything Wrong With The Dark Knight Rises really solidified the thoughts that I had, because I watched the movie, DC fan, love Batman. Now I'm becoming even more of a DC fan because I've kind of grown up into a different demeanor. A lot of my DC fandom now is coming from the TV shows. I could care less about what they do with their cinematic universe. Will Batman versus Superman be good? I can almost guarantee it's going to be. It's a Zack Snyder film. But I lost my point, so move on. You like how that fucking happens? Oh, Jesus.
I love the build up to you lost your point. I was like, okay, where's it going?
You dropped Oliver Queen on me. That was great. No, I just think that everything wrong with Batman, The Dark Knight Rises. The first 5 minutes, Michael Caine tells how the movie's gonna end. With Batman's gonna be on this drinking, blah blah blah, and then Bruce is there. Do I believe he could escape from the nuclear bomb? Yeah, I actually do, because he's fucking Batman. That's not the part that bothered me. Other things that bother me: Talia, I don't use guns. Catwoman, here's a fucking gun. Take it and go shoot people. No, you don't do that. That's not the way. Batman would never give anybody a gun and say, go do this. Under any circumstance. I don't care.
Rubber bullets. Honest.
Yeah. It's in the utility belt. He's got
Dark
the back
Knight
clip.
Returns. Mic drop.
Like I said, there might be a handful of problems, but
I'll give it a second go, okay?
there's a barrel of problems in
How
some of
about
the
this?
Marvel movies.
You and me will watch it together, and we'll record a riff track. We'll watch it together. We'll put it on the podcast.
I like that. That can be the one, maybe when you come up,
Sure.
we'll do that as well. I mean, as long as you're down with that, I think
I'm
that's a
down
good
with that.
plan. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this episode, man. First of all, before we get any further, thank you, Nick, for coming on. Mike, thank you for hosting us and coming on the show. We're in your lovely home in Studio MC. That's because it's Mike's house, but with the comic setup. So, and Brandon, thanks for hosting me.
Handshake.
Yeah. Who the fuck handshakes anymore?
Well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Hey.
Yeah.
No problem. And I told these guys off air, if when you're coming up, if they ever want to tag along, they're more than welcome. No questions asked. It's a blast to just talk to you guys. We're all in different veins of things that we love, but we all connect, and it's really great to experience this. So thanks for coming on Journey into Comics. This was episode 40. I'm Nate Phillips.
I'm your other delicious co-host, Brando Stone.
I have nothing. I'm not commenting after that. It's all you.
Decoy out.